Hannah agrees to meet Vael alone. No commission observers, no security, no recording. Myra objects. Vael says, I know her. Myra says, I know. That's why I object. He goes anyway. They meet in a park in Osaka, the same park where, 30 years ago, Hannah maintained an observation post undercover as a gardener. She knows every tree. Some of them she planted. She is not what he expected. He expected defiance, the principled defiance of someone who has committed to a position and is not yet ready to admit it cost more than it was worth. What he finds instead is exhaustion. The particular exhaustion of someone who has been right for a long time about a thing that turned out to matter less than the thing they were wrong about. She says, I did not want to destroy the commission. I wanted to stop it from making a mistake that could not be corrected. He says, what mistake? She says, them. Out there. Whatever sent the signal. She sits down on a bench. She says, you opened a door. You have no idea what comes through it. He sits beside her. He says, no. We don't. He pauses. But I spent 2 centuries in a room with that door closed. The protocol was the lock. I called it wisdom. She called it wisdom. Zenith called it wisdom. It was actually the refusal to find out. She says, finding out could destroy them. He says, not finding out was already doing that. Slowly. The archive has 42 cases, Hannah. 42. Not all of them were my failure. Some of them were yours. She is quiet for a long time. She says, I know. He says, the signal is not a threat. You know what it is. You've read the geometric analysis. Whatever sent it knew our notation system. It has been watching us the way we watched them. Which means it observed the protocol, and the protocol held, and we still revealed ourselves in the end. Not because Myra Santos was clever, though she was. Because the protocol was already failing from the inside. You felt it too. You converted it into principle because that was easier than admitting it. She looks at her hands. The same gesture Sarah makes when she is listening for something that isn't in the room. He says, what do we actually owe them, Hannah? What is the debt? She says, not to harm them. He says, yes. And what does harm mean to a species that names its fears and walks toward them? What does protection mean to something that builds monuments to its own grief and calls them beautiful? She is quiet. He says, I think the debt is to be honest. To stop deciding what they can handle. They have been handling the truth for as long as we have been here. We were the ones who couldn't. She stands. She looks at the tree she planted 30 years ago. It is taller than she expected. They always are. She says, I'll come to the next commission session. He says, Thursday. She says, I know.